Be quiet. All right, shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off first and foremost by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Pakwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Peace, love, salutations to those that are doing this work in truth and sincerity. This is your brother Nathaniel. I'm back at you through the Spirit with another lesson, and I pray and hope this lesson is edifying. Now, I'm going to start off with this quick precept because it's a video that I want to play. Play. All right. Because these other nations, they make unrighteous decrees that are to their own destruction. All right. I came across this video where you have the CPB, the Moab's government, the Chinese government, that are now forcing their citizens to have children. And if you don't have any children, you could potentially go to prison. So they went from having a one-child policy to having, hey, we need you to have as many babies as possible because their numbers are dwindling, and they see that within the next generation, their numbers are going to be cut by more than half. Okay, especially if there's a major war, right? So this is Isaiah 10:1. It says, "Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees and write grievances which they have prescribed." Okay, so you prescribed a grievance and an unrighteous decree to your own people, and now it has affected you to your detriment. And that's nothing but the Heavenly Father preparing Moab for the revenge that He's about to inflict upon them. Okay, the judgment. All right. So the numbers having low birth rates and having low numbers, that right there is an indicator that you're being judged, because the Lord told us to what? Be fruitful and multiply and subdue the earth, speaking to the Israelites. So if you're not having babies, and your numbers are diminishing, the Lord is putting a judgment on you, because that's exactly what happened to us as our numbers fell. He made us a remnant. He diminished us to the point where there was only a remnant left. And out of that remnant, you have the elect. All right, so without further ado, I'm gonna start playing some of this video and just pay attention to what they're saying. They're talking about how this one-child policy. They went from a one-child policy to you gotta have babies.
You're responsible for this. Games with me. 33, and you're still not married?
I don't want to get married. I'm enjoying being on my own.
Enjoying being on your own? I'm not here to tell you to get married, but you must have a kid. Do you have a girlfriend? Maybe a few more on the side? Couldn't you have a few kids? This is a serious requirement.
Well, I'll tell you straight, I can't do it.
Don't try to argue with me. If you don't start having kids, it's on you. Do you realize that? You'll be the one history blames. There aren't enough kids in kindergartens, not enough students in elementary schools, and the streets are empty. You're responsible for this, you know that?
This video has recently gone viral across major platforms in China. Although it seems like a comedic skit, the fact is that the Chinese Communist Party has started setting up birth encouragement offices nationwide. These offices are essentially repurposed from the former family planning offices, now tasked with pressuring people to have children. One person commented, 30 years ago it was the family planning office. 30 years later, it's the birth encouragement office. They control your uterus. If they say no kids, then no kids. If they say have kids, you must have kids. The CCP's policies just keep flipping back and forth like a pancake. Recently, numerous people have taken to social media to complain. Some report that right after registering their marriage, neighborhood committees started calling them to encourage them to have children. Others say the community called just 3 days after their wedding to ask if they were pregnant. Someone's sister, who had just had their second child, received a call urging her to have a third. Even pregnant women are regularly contacted, with calls checking in to ask if they intend to keep the baby. These frequent phone calls and even home visits have left people feeling frustrated. This is just outrageous. Now, if we're not having children, the neighborhood committee is already calling to pressure us. Some of my friends have been receiving these calls recently. They immediately ask, when was your last period? Sometimes they even text. They're asking if you're capable of getting pregnant. Talk about suffocating. Why are they in such a rush? I looked up the birth rate data, and it all made sense. The numbers are grim. Our population growth has been negative for 2 years in a row, with a total fertility rate around 1. What does this mean? It's the second lowest among major global economies.
Damn commercial, Salakia.
Luckily, South Korea is behind us, or we'd be last. A user on Xiaohongshu posted, "This is insane. I got a call in the afternoon from the village's family planning office asking when I plan to have a second child. Given the current situation, raising even one child is a challenge, let alone two. I remember when my family had an extra child growing up. The family planning officials came and tore down our roof. My parents didn't come home for 2 or 3 years to avoid them. And now they're pushing for a second kid? I'm speechless." Another person shared, "My community called me early in the morning to ask if I'm pregnant. They said my child is almost 2 and I should start planning for another. They even offered free folic acid from the community office. It feels like this birth pressure is right in my face." Some commented, "Since getting married, the community has already called me 6 times, all to ask if I'm pregnant, twice a month." One person asked, "Is my uterus some sort of public property now?" Another person commented, "How ironic. Before the 1990s, these family planning offices were like gangs, storming into homes to arrest pregnant women and threatening to demolish houses. Now they're calling to check on us. They even come to our door asking if we're pregnant and if we're using any birth control. It's truly absurd."
And I got
A
over it
community
shit.
worker
I
also
was
shared,
mad,
"I'm
but I
one of
got
those
over it.
tasked with making these
I only get
calls.
pissed at
I don't
shit
want
when
to
you
do
don't.
it. It feels intrusive. But as soon as they set up these new information cards, they pass them to their district office. And now those of us in family planning have to make these calls." Another person revealed that as soon as you undergo a marriage checkup or a free pre-pregnancy check, the community starts calling. Once you fill out personal and family details, you're marked as a woman of childbearing age in the system. It seems
So you can see China's going through extreme measures right now to try to recoup their numbers. Okay, but unfortunately, that's not the plans of the Heavenly Father. You are going to go into slavery, all right, and you're going to be destroyed in this next world's war, all right. So, we're going to go to the book of Deuteronomy, Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 7. And it says, and the Lord thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies and upon them that hate thee, which persecute thee. You see that? So the Lord is taking all of the curses that was placed on Israel and he is attaching them to the other nations. As we come into the end of this current age, you're going to start to see the rise of the Israelites and the elect and the 1/3, and you're going to start to see the other nations start to diminish. And that's exactly what's happening. Okay? They're beating the war drums. Be quiet. Okay? They're beating the war drums. Um, uh, and on top of us going to on top of them going to war, right? They have low birth rates, so they won't even be able to replenish their populations after they get knocked down. All right, they're going to be completely obliterated, and those that are left are going to go into slavery. All right, so this is Jeremiah 48. All right, and I'm gonna start at 443. It says, "Fear the pit and the snare shall be upon thee, O inhabitants of Moab, saith the Lord. He that fleeth from the fear shall fall into the pit. He that getteth up out of the pit shall be taken in the snare. For I will bring upon it, even upon Moab, the year of their visitation, saith the Lord. They that flee stood under the shadow of Hezbon because of the force, but the fire shall come forth out of Hezbon, and the flame from the midst of Shion, and shall devour the corner of Moab, and the crown of the head of the tumultuous ones. Woe be unto thee, Moab, the people of Chemosh, perish, for thy sons are taken captives, and thy daughters captives. Yet I will bring again the captivity of Moab in the latter days. It's talking about now, saith the Lord. Thus far is the judgment of Moab. Okay? So Moab is getting their judgment, and this is going to happen to all of the rest of the heathen. Okay? Okay? The Lord is going to put every single one of them into captivity. Put my water down. Alright, so this is Jeremiah 30:6, and it says 16, slacking. 30:16, it says, Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all they that prey shall be prey upon thee will I give for a prey. Okay, so Moab and the other nations preyed upon Jake in the moments of our weakness. Okay, in the moment when we were being judged. This is why you see, gas stations everywhere, beauty supplies everywhere, Chinese food everywhere. Because who buys all this shit? Israel. Jake does. Jake is the one that buys all this stuff. Okay? And who benefits from it? The other nations, they benefit from it. Okay? The other nations benefit from it. Okay? And they have been. And then they look down on Jake. Okay? So look, these look over here in America, when hey, stop, Ben. Okay, over here in Babylon, aka America, right? When you have Margaret Singer and the eugenicists, aborting Jake like crazy, but y'all don't have the ability to reproduce like Jake do. Okay, so even though they're poisoning Jake on this side, and Jake is going to these abortion clinics, and there's low testosterone levels and all that good stuff here in Babylon. Jake is still reproducing at a higher rate than all of the other nations. Okay, they're still reproducing at a higher rate than all of the other nations. Okay, because there's a blessing that the Lord put upon Jake. All right, but the other nations, y'all don't have that fertility rate. Y'all thought because y'all had many numbers and y'all have been reproducing at such rapid rates for such a long time that it was going to continue. No, the Lord is the one that caused your numbers to be diminished. Okay, and it's going to continue to happen. There's no coming back. We're at the end of this age. We're at the end of this system. So there's no, oh, we're going to go ahead and force y'all to have babies. You're not going to be able to have babies fast enough. Okay, only Jake can have children at that rate in the type of system and oppression that we have going on. Okay, just like back in Egypt when Jake was in slavery, and it said the more that Jake was oppressed, the more they multiplied. All right, because you don't have that blessing on you. All right, the Lord will multiply Jake just so Jake can get the sword, just so Jake can go through the punishment and save the remnant. All right. But y'all other nations are going into captivity. Y'all not gonna be restored the way Jake is gonna be restored. Well, at least not at first. After you serve your 1,000-year slavery sentence, then you're gonna be released. All right. So yeah, this is your payback for everything that you did to the Israelites. And it just happens to coincide of when these wars are happening. All right. So with that, our praise the edifying lesson. I'm going to end it off by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Kadesh. Until the next time, I say Shalom.